who is 5 years old. One of the most beautiful experiences that I have as a mother is being able to see my little princess read, and just being a part of that process is just so lovely. So my little princess loves to lay out all her books in the middle of the living room floor, and she will read for a really long time. And I just feel so blessed to be able to be a part of her learning how to read, and not only how to read, but love reading. Just being able to see her transform into a little reader is just so beautiful to me. And today, I want to share with you what I have done to help her along in her process, and also lay the foundation for her to continue to grow as a reader. She is currently 5 years old and she is reading very well. We are just working on fluency and reading comprehension, which of course we will continue to work on even throughout the higher level years. But I am very satisfied with the way she has learned to read. And so first, I want to give you the terms for the essential skills that children need in order to become readers. And so I will give you the fancy terms, but I will also explain to you what they mean. So this is just so that you have that background knowledge, so that when I give you those tips and strategies, then you can connect it back and understand what the reasoning is behind those activities. There are 5 skills that are essential and that are just very important for little ones to develop in order to become readers. So the first is phonemic awareness. And that just means being able to recognize the different sounds in words. The second is phonics, and that is just recognizing the connection between letters and sounds. The third is vocabulary. So for them to understand the meaning of words, especially common words, and to continue to grow their vocabulary as they grow. Number 4 is reading comprehension. And that is just what it sounds like. Being able to understand what has been read to them or what they are reading. Understanding the meaning of written words. And number 5 is fluency, which is the ability to read aloud with speed and accuracy and proper expression. Those are the essential reading skills that children need to develop so that they can become readers. So now I want to share with you some of the ways that you can help your little one and equip them to move along in their process as they learn how to read. So these are things that I actually did with my little princess. Even as a little baby, I was doing a lot of this, and so that is why I want to share with you, because if you have little babies, toddlers, or little children who are still learning how to read, this will be so helpful, because this is the way I got her not only to love reading, but also to start recognizing letters and words and eventually start reading sentences. So ever since my little princess was just a tiny little baby, I remember being very conscious of surrounding her with language. This is something that I had learned in college as I was preparing to become a teacher. So I was pursuing a degree in education, and so I knew early on the importance of exposing her, even as a baby, to language. So I would talk to her constantly. I would narrate all that I was doing. I would ask her questions and have actual conversations with her. Not baby talk, but actual phrases, and just the way I would speak to an adult. I would talk to her. I wasn't limiting my vocabulary. I was just speaking to her normally. I would sing to her and read to her. So this is the first way that we can help our little ones. It's just surround them with language. There are so many ways, but I would say just talking to them and reading to them is the best of all. And so another way that you can help your little one is by reading a lot. Just reading so many books. So reading as much as you can is so helpful because, again, you're surrounding them with language, but you're also modeling that process of reading, even just handling the books. They see you open the book. They know that those pictures have meaning. They can see the text. They can see you reading along. They see the way you turn the page. Even that is just so helpful to them. And so you model reading for them. You expose them to language. You have a chance to look at the pictures with them and describe the pictures. Ask them questions. Begin conversations about the story. It is just a great way to get them started in that learning to read process. Another important way to lay out the foundation for their reading is letter recognition, and that of course begins very early on when they're babies and toddlers. We start showing them the letters. This is A, this is B, and so on, and they begin to recognize those letters, and they'll begin even pointing them out and saying, oh, that's A, or that's C, and so that is also very important. Introducing them to the alphabet, the ABC song is a great way. So just be consistent in showing them those letters and their names in different settings, at play, when you're going down the road and you're looking at signs, just in ordinary places. Whenever you see a letter, point it out and talk and tell them what that letter is, or ask them what that letter is, and just have them be familiar with the letters and their names. It's also important that we show them the sounds. So the letters represent sounds, but there are also blends and diagrams that we can show them and begin to sound it out with them, and even write it down or show them on a chart those blends, those diagrams, or those sounds, so that they can start recognizing the sounds of the letters, or of words, or of combinations of letters. So there are many games and activities as well that you can do to get more familiar with the sounds. For example, capping out the syllables. So before I continue, I also want to say that in those beginning years, and as they're learning how to read, just make sure that it is not too formal, that everything is done naturally. For example, games and fun activities are a great way to expose them to these new skills, to letters, sounds, and words. It should be done in an informal way so that it's actually fun for them. Another way that we can prepare them in their reading process is to show them the vowels and their sounds. So first begin with the short vowel sounds. So when they're very little, I would start with that, with the short vowel sounds. And so once they have mastered those, they can go on to the long vowel sounds. So once they are familiar with the letters and the sounds they represent, and they know many of the sounds, and they can even separate them in words, and they know their vowels as well, especially the short vowel sounds, they are most likely ready for CBC words. CBC words are words that are written in consonant, vowel, consonant format. So, for example, cat, C-A-T. So that would be consonant, vowel, consonant. So just 3-letter words that are easy for them to read. So those are great to work with when they're very little and they're just beginning to learn how to read. I feel that with my little one, it also empowered her because they were so easy to read and she was actually reading them, that just helped her boost her confidence, and she felt that it was something that she could do, and if she could do that, she could continue on and read bigger words and, of course, sentences. So another way that I think is so helpful is to have them learn some sight words. So they can begin with easy sight words like the and you and. So sight words are just words that they will learn to recognize automatically. So they don't have to sound them out. They will just see them and know what they are. I just feel this is so good for them because, again, like I said, it helps them gain confidence, and once they see those words, they know what they are, and so they feel that they're reading, and that helps them so much. So once you see that your little one knows the letters of the alphabet and the sounds they represent, the vowels, and they can read some CBC words and some sight words, then I think it would be a good time to get them started with some independent books. Independent reading books are also called labeled books or readers, and they're just books that are easier for them to read, and you just need to make sure you know the level they're at and find books that are at that level so that they are able to master those books and have great success reading those books by themselves. So they may miss a few words here and there, but if for the most part they're reading those books, then that's a good fit for them because it's gonna help them just be more independent and again gain confidence and fluency as they move along. But once they start reading those books, you can say they're reading. They are just on their way to just improving those skills, and all you have to do is guide them along. Finally, for reading comprehension, I would say the best way is to ask them questions before you read them a book, during the story, and after the story. Just make sure that those questions are natural and that they don't interfere with the story itself, that there are not too many interruptions. But asking them questions is good because it gets them thinking. And you can also ask them to retell the story after it's done. Or what I like to do sometimes is I will tell her, no, go read it to daddy. Just ways in which she can just summarize the story in her own words. And throughout the day, like, I will read a story, and once we're done with that story, I will say, so how did you like the story? What did you think about it? Even certain scenes in the story, I will recall those scenes with her and just ask her questions about that. But that's what I like to do in order to start building on those reading comprehension skills. If you are a new homeschooling mom, or if you are struggling with the reading part of learning for your little ones, I hope this video gave you some ideas. I know that as moms, we worry about every little aspect of our little ones' learning, and so I know that reading is one of those fundamental skills that they need for other subjects as well, and so I know that we worry so much about that, and so I wanted to share what helped me help her learn how to read. And so that is all that I had to share today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you join us in this little community, and I hope to see you in the next video.